Have you ever felt like you're living on a slight delay? Like your mind is always a fraction of a second behind reality? It's not just you. This is a real, measurable phenomenon that scientists and philosophers have been fascinated by for centuries. It's called the delay in consciousness, and today we're going to dive deep into what it is, why it happens, and what it means for our very perception of reality. Let's start with a simple experiment. Raise your hand. Now, when did you become aware of your decision to raise it? Most people would say they were aware of the decision right before they acted. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Back in the 1980s, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet conducted a groundbreaking experiment that shook our understanding of free will. He asked participants to flex their wrist whenever they felt the urge, while he monitored their brain activity with an EEG. The results were startling. Libet discovered that a specific brain signal, called the readiness potential, started building up about half a second before the person was consciously aware of their decision to act. Let me repeat that. Your brain starts preparing for an action before you even know you're going to do it. This 500 millisecond gap suggests that what we perceive as a conscious decision might actually be the final step in a process that began unconsciously. So, are we just puppets, with our brains pulling the strings before we even know it? Not so fast. While Libet's findings are compelling, they don't necessarily kill the idea of free will. Some scientists argue that while the initial impulse might be unconscious, we still have a conscious veto. Think of it like this. Your brain might propose an action, but your conscious mind has the final say, the power to say no in that tiny window before the action is executed. It's the difference between having a spontaneous thought and actually acting on it. This delay isn't just about big decisions. It happens with every single thing you perceive. When you see a flash of light, it takes time for the light to hit your retina, for the signal to travel to your brain, and for your brain to process it into a conscious experience. The same goes for hearing a sound or feeling a touch. Our brains are constantly working to stitch together all this delayed information from our different senses into a seamless, coherent reality. This is what neuroscientist David Eagleman calls temporal binding. Your brain essentially waits for all the information to arrive before it presents you with the now. So, the now you're experiencing is actually a little bit in the past. Your consciousness is like a live news broadcast with a slight time lag. Now, let's switch gears and look at this from a different angle, one that has been explored for thousands of years in mystical and spiritual traditions. Many ancient philosophies, particularly from the East, have long talked about the nature of the mind and its relationship to reality in a way that resonates with these scientific findings. Take mindfulness and meditation, for example. At their core, these practices are about paying close attention to the present moment, observing your thoughts and sensations without judgment. When you sit and meditate, you start to notice the constant stream of thoughts, feelings, and impulses that arise and pass away. You become an observer of your own mind. In doing so, you can actually start to perceive that gap, the space between an impulse and your reaction to it. Spiritual teachers often say that who we truly are is not the thoughts themselves, but the awareness that observes the thoughts. This observer or witness consciousness is seen as a deeper, more fundamental aspect of our being. From this perspective, the delay Libet discovered isn't a flaw. It's an opportunity. It's the space where true choice and freedom lie. By cultivating awareness in this gap, we can learn to respond to situations consciously, instead of reacting automatically based on unconscious programming. Think about it. When someone says something that triggers anger in you, the initial spark of anger might arise unconsciously, just like the readiness potential. But in that fraction of a second before you lash out, you have a choice. You can observe the anger, acknowledge it, and choose a more constructive response. This is the power that mindfulness practices aim to cultivate. These traditions suggest that our ordinary state of consciousness, the one that feels identified with our thoughts and emotions, is just the surface level. They believe there's a deeper reality, a unified field of consciousness, from which everything arises. Our individual time-delayed experience is just one small ripple in this vast ocean. The goal of many spiritual paths is to transcend this limited, ego-bound perspective and experience that deeper, timeless unity. So, in a way, while science measures the delay from the outside, these traditions have been exploring it from the inside for millennia. So, what does this all mean for us? On one hand, it's a bit unsettling. The idea that our sense of control and our perception of the present moment are elaborate constructions of our brain can be disorienting. It challenges our intuitive sense of being the captain of our own ship. But on the other hand, it's incredibly liberating. Understanding this delay can make us more compassionate with ourselves and others. When you understand that an initial impulse or emotional reaction can be unconscious, it's easier to forgive yourself for a thought you didn't want to have, or to give someone else the benefit of the doubt. It highlights the importance of that conscious veto, the power of choice and self. It also gives a whole new depth to practices, like mindfulness. It's no longer just about reducing stress, it's about fundamentally training your mind to operate with more awareness and freedom. By practicing, you're not trying to stop your brain from doing what it does. You're learning to work with it, to notice the unconscious urges, and to consciously choose your path forward in that crucial half-second gap. Whether you look at it through the lens of neuroscience or ancient wisdom, the delay in consciousness reveals something profound about the human experience. We are not simply experiencing reality as it is. We are actively creating it, moment by moment, from a stream of slightly old information. Our brain is a masterful storyteller, weaving a coherent narrative out of sensory data. And our conscious self gets to experience that story as if it were happening right now. So the next time you feel that tiny lag between an event and your awareness of it, don't worry. You're not broken. You're just experiencing the beautiful, complex, and slightly delayed magic of being a conscious human. You are the editor of your own life's movie, with the power to choose which scenes make the final cut. What do you think? Does this concept change how you view free will or your daily experience? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your perspectives on this. And if you found this exploration of consciousness as fascinating as I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.